Hey guys, wanted to share my weekend experience. I did the Boulder 70.3 half Ironman. So for anyone not familiar, triathlon, three sports, is swim, bike, run, always done in that order for safety. So swim you want to do first, because if you get tired, if you did it at the end, it would not go so well. So safety wise, that's the reason that's always the case. Distances real quick, there's a sprint triathlon. That's the shortest distance. That was the first one I ever did with my old boss back in New York City, up in upstate New York, Harriman State Park. Anyway, sprint is, I think, a half-mile swim. Yeah, I think a half-mile swim. I always forget the bike numbers. They're like weird numbers that don't make sense. It's like 20-mile bike, and then a 5K, which is 3.1 miles. Olympic distance, the next one up, and if anyone knows other ones, I think there's other ones, but these are the standard ones I know. Olympic distance is a 1 mile swim, kind of a double of that, and then I think 30 something bike. It's not a huge jump on the bike, and then a 10K, which is 6.2 miles. The half Ironman, which is what I did, and the full Ironman is just double all these numbers. So the half is 1.2 swim, 56 bike, and 13.1 half marathon run, which is 70.3. So if you ever see those little 70.3 stickers on people's cars, that's what that is. 70.3 miles covered. Took me, my final time was 7 hours, 16 minutes, and 15 seconds. The big question that I've been answering and getting is why? One of my buddies, Tim from New York City, he's done 15 Ironmans. He's got the tattoo and everything. It's definitely a lifestyle once you choose that path. I had pursued some version of this stuff back in around 2010, 2011, after I was getting into running. When I was in physical therapy school, I graduated 2008. I tore my ACL the year I graduated in Thanksgiving pickup game 2008. Had the surgery, took a year to recover. When I recovered, instead of just running, thinking that's a lot of impact on the knees and wear and tear, I said, let me do triathlons, a little less impactful, because you can mix in the swim and the bike. So I did some of that stuff. I did a few up to Olympic distance. I was going to do a half Ironman in Montauk, and my friend was my ride. She got a call last minute working at Stony Brook to cover, as an athletic trainer, cover things. So we had to basically shift down. So I did the Olympic. That would have been the, just for timing and driving and logistics. There's a lot of logistics in triathlon. So thank you guys for bearing with me to this point. Let me talk about this weekend. Boulder. I basically haven't touched anything, especially my wetsuit. I had to try it on last week, and I was like, oh, I've gained a bit of muscle from doing all my CrossFits for the last 10 years or so, and talk about some of those lessons. But signed up on a whim. Basically, Tim did it last year. He's like, hey, do you want to do this thing? It's not too far from my house. The setup is about 15 minutes in the Boulder Reservoir. So he's like, do you want to do this? I said, let's do it, I guess. This year, signed up whenever it became available, kind of gave me something to train towards. From my mindset, the way I talk about fitness, right? My business is Fit Care. If you care about your fitness, you can avoid the healthcare space. So this is a test of my fitness. Can I do a half Ironman without really training for it? I have a 19-month-old at the time of doing this. I got a lot going on. I don't have a lot of time to train. I would say, looking back, I did, I'm a pretty strong swimmer. I do have a good background in swimming. I got in a pool. I did about 40 laps in 20 minutes. Felt pretty good. So I was like, I think I got the swim. I did not do it didn't really think about the wetsuit. I was just like, I'm just going to get in and do the thing. I was very grateful I had my wetsuit. I'll tell that in a second. Running, I was able to do a little bit more. I would do little 30-minute runs. I really didn't push the distance. The most I did was 5 miles with a neighbor, which was not fun. I did a 10K Memorial Day, the Boulder. My calf tightened up. I did a 45-minute bike ride, and then 5K, 3 miles, and my calf tightened up. Again, this was last Sunday, so I was like, I better make sure my calves are nice and loose, which luckily they held up for the whole race. What else? So, jumping ahead, yeah, I didn't train much is the point, for this whole thing. I would say the running is a little harder to calculate, but overall, I think my swim took about 45 minutes, because I had a little panic attack, because of the wetsuit and everything. The first third of the swim, I basically was like, I didn't want to get my head underwater. I think I came out way too hard, didn't warm up enough, all that kind of stuff. So The first third of that swim, I just needed to kind of gather myself. They have little people on kayaks, so you can go over and kind of catch yourself. So I had to do that. Once I got past that first buoy, I was like, okay, I got this. And then I just had the strategy of right side, 10 strokes, left side, 10 strokes in terms of where I'm turning my head. This person's driving way too fast in the parking lot. But yeah, I was able to do that. And I actually had a pretty good, I think, respectable swim time, despite the first, probably, I could have saved like, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, from just that first bit. It felt like a long time. I was literally like doing a little doggy paddle breaststroke, just keeping my head over water, taking my goggles off. It was, I've never experienced that before. The only other time I felt like I was going to almost like drown was, my first time ever surfing in Hawaii, which, yeah, waves just crashing down on me. Couldn't really get up. But yeah, other than that, I'm a pretty good swimmer. I'm pretty sure once I found my rhythm, other than the boredom of it, I'm pretty sure I could have kept that pace going for the whole 7 hours or 8 hours. It's just boring. But for me, but yeah, once I found my rhythm, it was a good feeling. I was really happy to get out of the water, transitioned to the bike, took my time. Little pro tip or amateur tip. I'm a very amateur triathlete. Put some sunscreen on the back of the neck. Still feeling a little burn back here. I think it's actually peeling. I can feel that. I put a bunch on my legs. Put some, I had arm sleeves kind of like this. I'm wearing my compression to recover, as this was only 2 days ago. But yeah, so put some sunscreen. It was very hot. The bike was fun and fine. I was a little frustrated. I don't even own a bike to this point. I used to have a really nice bike back in New York. Signed up for it. I was like, maybe I'll buy a bike or I'll just borrow a bike. I don't know that I'm going to commit to this whole thing, this endeavor of training. I do enjoy biking, but it just takes a lot of time away from family and all my business ventures and helping other people. Another part of the why is I do feel like this allows me to empathize and sympathize with people who do events like this. I work with them. I can look at it from an orthopedic standpoint. I can always kind of, speak to the concept of improving your ankle mobility or your knee pain, but in terms of experiencing it and being able to speak to it, it really helped to go through it. So yeah, the bike was pretty much fine. Like, I'm a pretty strong biker. I had to borrow a bike from our dog sitter, actually. Thank you, Rue. And it was not the best bike in the world, but it got me through. I was frustrated because I'm a pretty strong biker. I was beating people like up hills. And again, it didn't take a lot out of me. I mean, it still is 3.5 hours on the bicycle. It probably the biggest other kind of logistical thing is, it's a lot of wearing on the saddle, where you're sitting. So that's still something I'm going to get to deal with for another few days, probably. But yeah, the bike was fun. I was just frustrated that, like, I got pretty strong legs, but because people have bikes that are, $10,000, they're just flying by me. Even going downhill, I'm like 190 pounds. I'm going downhill. I would think I'd be zooming, and these folks are, I had the low speedometer. I'm going like 29 miles an hour. These people are going like 37. I'm like, what is going on? They're just going way past me, and taking off. It was a little frustrating. But it is what it is. And then the run was rough. It was like 90 degrees, no escape from the sun. I was doing my best to fuel. I work with Element. If you want to go to my link, drinkelement.com/fitcare, you can get a free sample of electrolytes. I used them in my water bottles. I had a whole strategy for that and fueling, but still, it was very hot. And then on the run, I have not trained my body. I have not done 4+, 5+, 6 hours of exercise. So getting on the run was a little rough. I did not enjoy that, and I just took it 1 mile at a time. A lot of walking. I stopped at every aid station, got water, got my electrolyte drink, because I didn't take the Element with me, but that was a little too much. I had an orange slice every time. They had Coca-Cola there. I did not try that, didn't want to risk that. And then I'd take another water, either throw it over my head or whatever, and drink some. And then I'd walk a little bit to the last garbage can that they would have. It said like last chance for the garbage. And then I would try to jog to the next station. So I just took it 1 mile at a time. it definitely helped to know people were tracking me, because you have the tracker on, there's an app, so it definitely helped to know that. So yeah, the run was really rough. What else? Yeah, I ended up running into a guy at the very end, the last like 4 miles. He lives like 5 minutes from where I live. He has a young kid and a second one on the way. We were talking about his injury, his IT band. He's been dealing with that for a year. So I was giving him some advice. Hopefully, Andrew, you see this video and you look me up. We talked about, you know, connecting and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, he helped me run through that last. I would have probably walked and run and tried to just get through it, but we were just like, hey, let's go. And I mean, we weren't sprinting, but we were going. I had a little kick at the end, which I posted that video somewhere if you're watching on. But yeah, so if you made it this far, I appreciate you listening to my story. Hopefully this is somewhat helpful for anyone doing any version of triathlon. Logistically, you know, I learned quite a few things. I tried to get it all in here. I feel like I'm already over time, but I'll leave it there, guys. Yeah, I'm glad I did it. I'm most likely not going to do another one anytime soon, you know, just because of the logistics. I think if I didn't have a family, if I didn't have a lot of time constraints, I might do more. It's just something to chase. It is kind of fun. It's whatever you call it, type A or type 2 fun or whatever, the kind of like you need that extra level of whatever mentality to really hit it. Anyway, but yeah, as of now, glad I did it. Glad it's over. Gonna recover hard. And yeah, we'll see where this all turns into. But I do think it fits into my whole picture of long-term fitness. How does that help? I plan to start squatting and deadlifting again. I have not been doing enough of that in training for this, so I want to get back to getting my numbers up there, because I think there's a lot more long-term benefits to improving that, but also keeping your VO2 max high, your ability to bring in oxygen, push out carbon dioxide. So I think that cardiovascular fitness is super important, but I also think we have to have a well-rounded picture of fitness. That's my whole thing. That's my whole brand. That's what I'm trying to bring to anyone who comes to me as a client or patient. So hopefully, again, this helps someone. I just wanted to get it out there. So thank you guys for listening, watching, and I'll talk to you next time.